Hello Cancer, and welcome to my channel Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus placements looking at what you experienced in 2024, what you need to know right now, and what you can expect moving into 2025. Friendly reminder that these are general readings and they are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone, so do please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and leave what does not. Last thing is that any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading or coaching session with me is in the description box below. All right, Cancer, let's jump on in. Let's see what we've got here. So let's look at your overall energy for 2024. We're going to look at overall energy with oracle cards, and then we're going to dive deeper into the story, into the energy with tarot a little later on in the reading. So let's see, what was Cancer dealing with here? Overall theme of the year. The energy is gaining momentum. Don't let pride get in your way. So it was a year of progress. Progress in the right direction. And I feel like you might not feel like you made as much progress as you were wanting. Oh, interesting. A new romantic cycle begins with a win-win outcome as forecast. So to me, this just feels like new aligned energy is what you're moving toward. Yeah, because then you have you're very close to achieving your goal. So moving toward very aligned energy here. And I feel like it could have come in the form of baby steps. Maybe it was trying to break out of old habits, working on yourself in some way. Maybe it was taking steps out of your comfort zone. Either way, this does definitely feel like it was a year of progress. Now, I will say sometimes progress can even feel like taking steps backwards. It can feel like walking away from something that doesn't serve you. It can feel like, going back to school or going taking steps backwards that eventually will catapult you forward. So you might not feel the payoff of this progress at this time, but I do feel with this, don't let pride get in your way. I feel like this is a lot of like, don't let your ego get in the way. And because our ego wants what's familiar, right? It wants older experiences. It wants, experiences that are predictable. And when we're making progress toward new, our ego might get in the way and be like, oh, hold up. Like, this is unfamiliar. I don't know how to handle this, and try to pull you back into old patterns or behaviors. And I feel like it's like you haven't come this far to just come this far. Like, you've spent too much time and energy improving yourself. And I feel like you don't belong back in those old patterns or cycles any longer. So what does Cancer need to know about their current energy? Communication is key, with conclusions are within reach. And what do you need to release? Communication is key. How can that apply here? I feel like now is not the time to hold back your authenticity. And maybe that's what these kind of old cycles were about, like things that didn't align with who you really were. Like, maybe there were experiences where you were making yourself smaller or putting yourself into a box or trying to hold back parts of yourself to fit in or, out of fear that who you really are, like, isn't worthy or isn't deserving. And I feel like a lot of what you've been breaking out of are things that are unaligned, right? We talked about how you were moving toward more aligned experiences. So I feel like now is not the time to hold back. I feel like this is a time to show up as authentically as you can, aligned with your truth, and making sure you are speaking that as much as you possibly can, and understanding that, sure, you might experience endings, or maybe you have experienced endings, but anything that you lose as a result of speaking your truth or standing tall in your truth is not a loss, but alignment with what is really meant for you. And I think that sometimes it can be really tempting to want to hold back how we really feel or what we really want or who we really are to try to make something work. And I feel like the universe is saying now is not the time to do that, because the more that you show up authentically in your reality, the closer you're going to get to the things that are meant for you. Because the things that are meant for you can't find you if you're not being authentically you, right? So definitely not a time to hold back here. Let's see what Cancer needs to know moving into this new year. What can Cancer expect in 2025? Don't let your past hold you back. Wow, that one came out with some intention. And then luck is on your side, and then a win-win outcome is forecast. So the universe is saying, and we already kind of addressed this. So it's like you've already come too far. Like you've come too far to just come this far. And I feel like especially if you're not seeing the results of your progress or the outcomes that you deserve and desire, it might, like I said, be tempting to want to go backwards, right? To go backwards into old patterns, into old behaviors, into old relationships, into things that deep down don't really serve you, but maybe there's a fear of something better not coming along. And I feel like the universe is saying, as long as you can, and this is kind of going also back to not letting pride get in your way. If you can allow yourself to believe that who you are and, what you stand for, that is enough. And you are worthy of the things in this world that you desire. And you are not here to make yourself small or to settle for anything less. And I think that you're really stepping into your power in that sense of understanding that. But it's one thing to step into your power to be like, yeah, no, I'm deserving of more, or I'm ready to create more for myself. Where it becomes difficult is when you don't immediately start to see the results of that. So continuing to stay in your power, continuing to speak your truth, continuing to be, to come from a place of confidence as much as you can. And the universe is saying, and luck is on your side, win-win outcomes. Things are going to work out for you here. I feel like this is the year of, just being unapologetically you and understanding that's all you need to be. You don't need to be anything more than you are. You don't need to change who you are. You don't need to shrink yourself to receive the things that you're looking for. In fact, it's the opposite. Anything that requires you to shrink yourself or make yourself small is not truly aligned or with you here. So overall theme for Cancer, this is my affirmation deck. When I was intuitively picking out decks for this reading, I felt super drawn to this deck, and I haven't used it in forever. I've liked what it's been bringing to the table, literally, but let's see what we've got. Overall theme, overall affirmation for Cancer in regard to this reading. Interesting. I know that my purpose is far greater than just working and paying bills. And it says, I am more than my career. But I feel like this is even talking about something more than that. Your life isn't just about going through the motions. It's not just about surviving. And sometimes it can feel like it is. And it can be hard to believe that there's anything more, especially if you're someone who has a tendency if you're like me and you have a tendency to equate your worth with your productivity or with what you, the value that you provide, you might have a tendency to get stuck accepting less than what you deserve and over giving or over performing for way less than what you deserve for that amount of effort. And I feel like this is kind of putting an end to that, understanding that you are not here to prove your worth or your value to anybody. And the people that don't see it, and I mean, this includes bosses, right? The people that don't see it in the situations that require you to abandon your worth, are not meant for you at the end of the day. And every loss that occurs because you stand out against, the people that are pushing you to lower your worth or your standards, and every loss that you experience for that is only going to lead you closer to the right experiences. I talk about this a lot when it comes to just in general, the concept of manifestation. I say, it's actually pretty easy. It's about getting super clear on what you want and then saying no to anything that isn't that. But it's easy in theory. It's not so easy in practice because we start to experience fear and anxiety about these things not happening. We start to experience insecurity, these feelings of us not being good enough for it or meant for it. or whatever the case might be. And that's why it's like, it's easy in theory to be like, yes, I'm deserving of more than this, but it's harder in practice because especially if you're so used to settling for less than what you deserve, it's going to be tempting to do that to receive anything at all. But the more that you settle for less than what you deserve just to receive, the more you're never going to be able to receive the things that you deserve and desire. So this is definitely the year of believing in your worth, believing in what you bring to the table, and allowing yourself to know that the more you stand tall in that, yes, you might experience periods of losing the things that don't align with that, but that also means you're going to experience periods of receiving the things that do. So let's dive a little bit deeper. That was weird. All right, let's dive a little bit deeper. I don't feel like that card was supposed to, I didn't feel very, a lot of times when these cards come out, I can feel like if it was intentional or not, and that didn't feel intentional. But let's see. What does Cancer need to know about this past energy? The Four of Pentacles in reverse. That to me is like unexpected. The unexpected changes or unexpected, like kind of like blindsided by certain situations. And I think that this blindside, it's like you didn't go into last year expecting these things to happen. And I think that the unexpected was ultimately necessary in some way. Yeah, because there it is. The King of Wands, so Four of Pentacles in reverse, King of Wands in reverse. Whoa, then the Devil, Eight of Pentacles in reverse, Two of Cups in reverse. Jeez. And then the Page of Wands with the High Priestess on the bottom here. There's this energy of putting a lot of energy and a lot of effort into something and just not seeing it pay off. And I feel like this is like, especially with the King of Wands in reverse, this is definitely this energy of selling yourself short, not recognizing what you bring to the table and the value that exists within it. And I think that as you moved through this, I feel like you probably started to feel a little bit more and more frustration, or just like in general, like no more, experiencing a lot less willingness to put up with something here. I don't know what it was. But I feel like it was your intuition speaking to you here with the High Priestess through this energy of like, you deserve a lot more than this. So I don't know if like you did something unexpected, or if something unexpected happened to move you away from something that wasn't serving you here. Now, with the Devil, there was a pretty heavy attachment to something, meaning something that you were really you felt like you needed it to pan out a certain way in order for you to be happy, healthy, abundant, secure in some type of way. And it didn't happen the way that you expected. It rarely ever does happen the way that we expect. But I feel like this, however things played out in 2024 and the losses that you experienced, or the failures even that you experienced, because loss and failure, they're never destinations, but merely an indication that we're still in the middle of a journey. I got nervous that my microphone wasn't on there. So you're still in the middle of a journey here. Your journey, I mean, especially seeing this conclusions are within reach, your journey has not come to an end. Where you're at now is not where you're going to always be stuck. But I also can understand why there, is a lot of emotion surrounding this, especially if you did put a lot of time and energy and you feel like it was a waste. I am a firm believer in never regretting the time or energy we put into anything, because it always leads us to the thing that is meant for us, even if it doesn't work, if that specific thing doesn't work out. So don't beat yourself up or feeling like I should have known better, or I should have, like for me, for a long time, I was like, man, I should have left my job way sooner. I should have left that relationship way sooner. Like sometimes we get ourselves stuck in that, with the woulda, coulda, shoulda, right? But that doesn't help. And I think that where you're at now is exactly where you're supposed to be. So definitely not a time, like I said, to hold back. It's a time to show up knowing your worth as your authentic self, and that's going to lead you to some pretty cool things. So let's get more on that current energy for Cancer. There you are. Queen of Cups. You know, I keep getting the same message in these readings of redirection. It feels like last year was a redirection for a lot of people, which can often be really painful through the experience because it's hard to believe in the unknown, right? It's hard to believe that things are working out when it doesn't feel like to us things are working out. But I feel like a lot of this past energy was you surviving, just getting through the day or trying to do what you could to keep your head above water, and the universe doesn't want you to just survive anymore. Here you are, you're healing, you're working through a lot, and I feel like you have been for a while. Maybe there's even some disappointment looking back at your year and looking at how things played out, you know, feeling like you should be further along than you are, feeling like you should be, you know, things should have played out different, whatever the case might be. But then you have the Wheel of Fortune as the underlying. So this is definitely that things are working out, even if it doesn't feel like they're working out kind of energy. The Two of Wands here, alignment. This is you, every loss that you have experienced recently is getting you further and further into alignment. And I feel like you'll see that when you get to where this is all taking you. But I don't know. I'm really excited for you guys, actually, about what energy is ahead of you, because I feel like you guys have been stuck either like trying to make something work or holding out for a certain outcome. And it feels like now is a time to really release what didn't work and release yourself from the guilt and shame associated with how you think you should have been better or how you think that you weren't perfect. And allow this to really move you toward really positive experiences. I don't want to tell you not to feel the way that you feel. If you feel disappointed, you should feel disappointed. If you feel sad, feel sad. If you're grieving, grieve, okay? This is not me saying you should just be happy because everything's working out in your favor, but I would like to offer you an opportunity for a different perspective, that maybe you were settling for way less than what you deserved without even realizing it. Maybe you were, you know, making yourself smaller or selling yourself short in a way that you didn't even realize in this past energy. And I think that you were, it's just maybe you didn't even know that better was possible for you, because that's what this feels like. This feels like believing in what might feel impossible and starting to create it. So let's see, Cancer, what we've got for you moving forward. What can Cancer expect in 2025? See, that one didn't feel intentional. There it is. Ooh. Page of Wands is giving me excited energy. Like you have a lot to be excited about. The Seven of Pentacles. But it requires commitment. Commitment to aligning with you. Commitment and patience. Okay. So you have the World, the Temperance, the Seven of Pentacles, and the Two of Cups. You have a lot to be excited about. That's definitely what this is bringing forth here. And a lot of potential and possibility exists for this year. However, the biggest thing that would hold you back from being able to experience new opportunities is if you fall back into an energy of selling yourself short. The Seven of Pentacles is all about commitment, but this is about commitment to you. Commitment to aligning with you. And I said it, you know, talking about when you break down manifestation, it's actually pretty easy saying, you know, figuring out what you want and what you deserve and then saying no to anything that isn't that. And that's the hardest part. Saying no to anything that isn't what you truly deserve is the hard part, because a lot of times we'll say, well, what if this is as good as it gets? What if nothing better will ever come along? What if I say no to this and I miss out on an opportunity? First and foremost, remember that nothing that is meant for you will ever pass you, even if you try to make it pass you. And second of all, saying no to less will always lead you to more. The power of saying no to things that that aren't aligned with your worth is so much more powerful than you think. But it requires you to face a lot of the fear that things are never going to improve, that things are never going to get better, that nothing better is ever going to come along. It's almost like you've been taught that you have to settle. You've been taught that you have to survive. You've been taught that things have to be hard. And maybe to a certain extent, that's become your comfort zone. That's what you know, and you're probably pretty damn good at it. You're good at survival. You're good at just making it through the day. You're good at putting up with unhealthy relationships or people who don't treat you well. But you don't have to do that. Capacity does not equal obligation. You're not here to sell yourself short or make yourself small or prove your value or worth to anyone. And so I think that that's what this year is the theme of it is really going to be for you is, again, standing tall in your truth and committing to that. Your commitment to I'm not going to date unless somebody comes along and shows me that they are emotionally available and capable of meeting me on my level. I'm not going to, let my mother speak to me in a disrespectful way anymore. I'm going to set boundaries, even if it creates tension in the relationship. Standing tall in your truth and saying, I'm done putting up with less and I'm here to receive more. That switching your intention to that perspective can drastically change your reality. And I feel like that's what you're being pushed to do. And then it's like your luck changes. And then all of a sudden because the more you align with your authentic truth, the more that you align the more you say no to what you don't deserve, the more you align with what you do, which is going to close out old cycles and open you up to new ones. So I feel like you have a lot to be excited about this year. But like I said, the biggest thing you need to know is committing to you. You're probably pretty good at committing to other people. Switch it up this year. Commit to you. Commit to your happiness, your health, your wellness, your needs. All right, we're going to hop on over to the extended. In this extended, we are going to look at what you can do right now to move forward in alignment with your higher self. So breaking down some tangible advice. And then I have an advice card to pull for you from your spiritual team at the very end. All the information for that is in the description box below. Thank you so much, Cancer, as always, for your support of my channel. I do obviously hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, I wish you nothing but love and healing and all of the wonderful things that you deserve and desire on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Cancer.